Family feuds and devastating fires, yet they create a whiskey that has been dubbed the king of drinks.
What?
I'll tell you all about it while we have a wee dram of Talisker 10.
Family feuds. What the f?
King of drinks. Oh. All right, so just a quick little history on this. 1830. It's been a while. Brothers Hugh and Kenneth McCaskill, farmers out on the Isle of Skye, had a bit of a barney with the family, land disputes and whatever. So they took off and ended up leasing the Talisker house.
Okay.
Just a homestead thing out there. They were farmers. They didn't know much about whiskey, but they decided to fire up a distillery.
As you do.
One of the most rugged, hard to get to places in Scotland. But they did all right. They actually made quite a big name for themselves. Hands changed over the years. All the rest of it, actually, I think it's part of Diageo now. Not that they get their sticky little fingers into this too much, because what these guys do is quite unique, and so they've let them go. So,
well, I feel like Diageo actually, as much as they are a big conglomerate that takes over, they do let people, because they do that with Guinness. Yeah. Guinness is still founder-led.
Yeah, I mean, especially Scotch, everyone has their own certain way of doing things. It's a bit silly to get in there and change all that.
Yeah.
So, and to really make a big statement on that point, 1960, Stillman kind of left something open they shouldn't have, and alcohol, fumes and fire don't mix. Burnt the whole place down.
Oh.
And completely destroyed it.
Right.
And I mean, the owners at the time kind of had an opportunity to modernise. It's been running from 1830 to 1960 on the same stuff. But instead, they ended up commissioning to completely recreate the stills and everything that was burnt down as an absolute carbon copy.
No.
I'm talking every bend, angle, dent in these,
nice.
these stills. They had them, complete replicas of what they had beforehand, because they felt that what their flavours they got out of all of this made Talisker, and they wanted to keep that character alive. So
is it a bit like when you go to a fish and chip shop and they haven't changed the grease in 6 months? I mean,
yeah. Just adds to the character.
That's it,
course.
character.
Exactly,
That's right, yeah.
exactly. So,
character, flavour, that's what you want.
And so I'm going to nerd out a little bit here and sort of explain their reasoning behind this. So again, they've done something very unique. Now with stills, sorry if I bore you, they're getting technical here, but with the copper pot stills, sort of where it comes up to the bottleneck is called a lyne arm. And so your vapours go up into your lyne arm and then travel into a condenser, which brings it back to a liquid, which is your spirit, right? Even small little things like the angle of your lyne arm completely change a whiskey.
Ooh.
It's amazing how much. So if your lyne arm goes on an incline, it's going to give you more alcohol, but strip away a lot of the heavier flavours.
Okay.
If it's more of a decline, won't have as much alcohol in there, but it carries a lot more of those heavy, denser flavours through. You'll find a lot of them just do a horizontal. It's easier to sort of control things and all the rest of it. But these guys, what they've used is what's called a U-shaped lyne arm.
Right.
And so it's a few curves and bends and all the rest of it. And in the lowest point of that, they've got a purifier. So the liquid goes through and all those real dense, heavy flavours go back into a copper tube and go back into the still.
Ooh.
So that, a teacher saying, no, you're not ready yet, go do your class again, then gets redistilled and goes back through. So you kind of think, well, it's going to be a very light, clean kind of whiskey. But that's only like one little piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Next thing they use is worms.
Worms?
Worms.
What kind of worms? I mean,
So a lot of stills, once they go through the lyne arm, they go into a condenser called a shell and tube condenser, which cools that vapor down really quick and really sort of cleans up. It just creates a really clean, crisp sort of spirit.
Right.
These guys, instead they use worms, which is basically just a copper coil sitting in a big wooden tub outside in cold water. So that's your worm, that's your copper coil. Cools it down a lot more slowly. And with a couple other different processes, we've spoken about this before with the contact with the vapor has on the copper stills, really cleans it up. The way they do this, it limits the amount of time that vapor is touching copper.
Right.
But they're sort of purifying it at the same time. But the end result is a really dense, heavy whiskey. And if you've been watching our other reviews lately, we've been talking a lot about the cask influence, you know, and the finishing and cask and all that they spend a lot of time and work a lot of their flavours out of the cask.
Right.
These guys just use ex-bourbon barrels, and for only 10 years, so an age statement whiskey, 10 is kind of young, like it's on the lower end, because they didn't want the cask to do a lot. They wanted the stills to shine. They wanted to show what different kind of stills and different way of distilling can make, the flavours that can make, and it's amazing what this does.
Yeah. Okay.
They've really gone about working their stills, and that's why they wanted to rebuild them the way that they did, because they didn't want to lose any of that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have Talisker.
It would be a completely different whiskey then.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, yeah, actually, I will mention that. It is peated barley,
right,
but very slightly. They didn't spend a lot of time soaking it in that peat smoke, so it's only just a hint of it.
Right. So peated barley, remind me again, was that the likes of Ardbeg and
so a lot of your Islay whiskies are peated barley. So once they soak the barley to malt it, to make malted barley, it's got to be dried. You can either use wood fire, that doesn't impart any sort of flavour, or you can use peat, which does impart a lot of smoke. So this has been slightly peated.
Right.
And you can just get a bit of hint of smoke.
Yeah, there's a bit of hint of it on there, yeah. Ooh. That's a full flavour.
I think that is a phenomenal flavour. It just goes to show, like, again, we've been harping on about like different casks and the flavours that people are, you know, these distilleries are trying to impart into whiskies through the cask.
Yeah.
They have tried to keep as much cask influence out of this as possible. So that is just, a lot of that flavour comes from the still.
That's, well, it's the complete opposite of, so in the last reviews that we've been doing, it's been the Bodega cask Whistler. It's been the Screwball and things like that. Very, very sweet.
Well, that's a bit different, yeah.
That was, you know, so that's overbearing in one way. This is almost the complete opposite of that. There's a fair amount of burn in the mouth there. It's a full, rich flavour. Yeah. You can really taste it.
Yeah, it's very 45.8%. I think that is a very
which is very specific.
Yeah, very specific.
So they've gone for that.
Exactly. So they are chasing a flavour there.
Yeah,
for sure.
A specific flavour profile.
Yeah,
and that's a rich flavour.
It is rich, and it is quite complex there, because I mean, there's, you know, your salty, briny, smoky flavours that you kind of get out of an Islay, but it's also sweet, malty sort of flavours you get out of a Highland Scotch. Yeah. Sort of combined together, and it's balanced so damn well.
It is balanced very well, I will give that. But it is quite overpowering in a sense.
It is, yeah.
You know, it doesn't just sit there and as soon as you've swallowed, you're kind of finished.
Oh, long finish on it.
It's a long,
big time.
It's hanging around in the mouth there. Like, it's not unpleasant. It's not hard to drink. But it is rich flavour.
It's an intense journey.
That'd be the way to phrase it. An intense journey.
But yeah, definitely a long finish. A lot of like black pepper sort of flavours there. Like, people have asked, I'm having a big steak dinner. Right. What's a good whiskey to pair it with? This is the one I always point them at. This is the one you go for. This is definitely, it's meaty, it's savoury, it's salty, it's pepper. It is also sweet there. Like, it has got sort of the same flavour profile as a lot of Isleys, so your Ardbegs and your Lefroys and stuff, that salty, briny, smoky sort of flavour. But for them it dominates. That's just what they are. This, it's got those flavours in there, but it's like hidden behind like a sweet maltiness and those sort of like bourbon barrel flavours. It's tucked away in behind all that. Yeah. And very well balanced. I think if you've never tried a smoky whiskey before, or a peated whiskey before, you'll find the smoke on this. Right. if you are an Islay drinker, you'll find it hard to find the smoke.
Okay.
And so I think if you are looking at dipping your toes into Islay whiskies and you haven't tried it before, this is probably the best stepping stone you could possibly think of.
You did put something in mind to me here now. It's a completely random question off the wall. You know the way you get food that's cooked in wine?
Yes.
You get cakes that are full of rum. My granny famously made cakes every Christmas with whiskey in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a story about when she accidentally used a very expensive whiskey. And, everybody said they were the best cakes that year.
Very expensive cakes.
Could you do whiskey? Is there a dish, meat-wise, steak-wise, that you can mix whiskey in, or is that a thing?
Ooh.
Just a thought, because you were saying, as you were saying, steak, black pepper, drinking the whiskey with it. I kind of went,
Yeah,
is that something that somebody's done? I don't know.
Ask the audience.
Ask the
that
audience.
I'm not sure. If there is any kind of recipe out there that could fit a whiskey blend,
I wonder.
that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Let us know.
We'll try it. We will cook it up. All right?
With the cheap whiskey.
Well, it won't be as good as the expensive whiskey. All right. Good advice.
Yeah, we'll try
Okay.
that. I'll try a wee bit of ice there.
Oh yeah.
All right. Ooh,
It's a lighter smell.
wow. That almost knocks back all of those maritime flavors,
Yeah.
knocks back the smoke, and just brings a lot of that.
That's
I think,
I feel like that's sweeter.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
I was going to say it's going to bring back all like the bourbon barrel stuff forward. So the caramels, your vanillas,
Oh yeah.
and that sweet malt bit of honey to the front for
God,
sure.
Yeah, that's definitely much more so. I tell you what, there's a tip straight off the bat for anybody watching this. If you take a sip of this and you find it's not to your liking,
Yeah.
throw the ice in,
Yeah,
because that really
transforms it.
Oh God,
100%. Yeah. So as I said, if this is a stepping stone towards Islays and you're still struggling with this, try the ice first. Work your way into neat, then work your way into Islay.
That'll be your go. Yeah.
It just got rid of all of that smoke and maritime.
Oh God, yeah. Nowhere near as much burn in there. It's still a bit at the back of the throat, but nothing to write home about. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't enjoy it with ice because I love the flavour of that. I feel like it's taken a lot out of it. But if you buy a bottle of that and are struggling,
I don't know.
There's an option.
I think you
can sit on that for a lot longer.
I think you could, yeah. I'm not necessarily saying all night, but I mean definitely a bit longer. I think. Well, we'll see how we go. I mean, but yeah, I think I'm gonna say with the ice.
Yeah,
preferably myself.
Yeah,
but still a good whiskey.
Oh, 100%.
You know, personally, I can.
What's your rating?
Well, yeah. I'm going to say it's a solid 3 anyway.
Yeah.
Neat. And I think I would raise it up to just a shade under 4 glasses. Like, you know, so not 4 full glasses, more like 4 glasses, but the barman's taking a sip. I just want to make it complicated, that's all. You know what I mean?
So, no, for me, 4 all day long.
4 all day long?
I love this. I think it's very versatile.
Yeah.
I think it's very complex. There are so many layers to that that it can be, especially if you are trying to pair it with foods and stuff like that. I think that is an absolute masterpiece that could work with so much stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it's a time and place whiskey. It's not a curl up on the couch at the end of a day kind of whiskey. It is a campfire whiskey.
Yeah.
It is a beach whiskey. It is a food whiskey. But I absolutely love the flavour of that. There's so much there to find. And especially, you know, just a touch of ice can transform it so much. It's so versatile.
So much, absolutely. That is a big change in the flavour, more so than any other whiskey that we've had so far.
Yeah.
You know.
No, totally agree. The longer it sits there, the more honey comes forward.
Yeah.
It's just watered down honey now.
Well, I wonder if you cut it straight with cold water, would it be instantly that? I wonder, you know.
Well, experiment.
Well, that's an experiment for a later stage. That's right, yeah. So everybody, if you enjoyed this video tonight, if you would like to join us again, and even if you don't, just hit subscribe, right? Hit the notification bell, and you never know what we might put up. We've got all sorts of things coming.
Something.
And I've thoroughly enjoyed this tonight, so it's an excellent choice.
I think
here
I'm going to
tonight,
enjoy another one.
And that's the questions for the comments tonight. Can you think of a whiskey recipe?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
I mean, on a closing note, the king of drinks I mentioned before, Famous author Robert Louis Stevenson, a famous Scottish author, wrote Treasure Island.
Yep.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde,
Yes.
I believe. Also wrote some poems, and in one of his poems, he immortalised Talisker
Okay.
as the king of drinks. So the poem was The Scotsman's Return from Abroad, and the line is, "The king of drinks, as I conceive it, Talisker, Islay, or Glenlivet."
Ooh.
Cheers. Live.
Not supposed to be live.
Yeah, fucking recorded.
Ah,
King of drinks.
you're just going to keep saying it. You put me on the spot with the Jekyll and Hyde thing. Is it? I want to Google it now to make sure that we've got that. Let me Google this shit.
You fucking
I'm
did.
fucking checking this. Treasure Island, yeah. That's it. And Strange Case Doc Jekyll
There you
and
go.
Hyde. Yep, sorry I doubted you. Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, I fucking told you. Come on.
A couple of... Stop humming. Fuck. History. 1830. A couple of
You
brothers.
substituted your for an ash.
What do you...
Squeaky noise. Never heard wood burn like that. It's like one of those anti-social alarms they have outside of shops to get teenagers to move on.
It might blow up, don't worry about it.
Aye.
You guys are fucking me with you.
Sorry.
I'm so organised. We're not going to have bloopers this time.